U.S. drone attacks on militants in Pakistan's tribal areas, the ineffective U.S. aid program, and U.S. support for controversial generals, experts say, have generated widespread anti-American feeling in Pakistan. They say U.S. support for generals behind military coups has historically been responsible for anti-American sentiment among Pakistan's people. Pakistanis believe the U.S. has been using Pakistani army to achieve its own objectives, like, for example, in Afghanistan. Another view is that the U.S. is making special effort to appease Pakistan's military. The reason? Pakistan's army felt abandoned when the U.S. lost interest in the region following the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan in 1989. Former ambassador to Pakistan, Wendy Chamberlain, says anti-U.S. feeling began with U.S. support for President General Zia-ul-Haq in 1979.
It was during Zia's time that he not only overthrew the government and executed a popular elected populist president, President Bhutto, but he also invited the Wahhabis in from the Gulf in order to counter the Shia revivalism that he feared coming in from Iran.
Zahid Ibrahim of the National Endowment for Democracy says 2 decades later, U.S. support for General Pervez Musharraf revived anti-U.S. feeling.
Especially in his last few years, when he was deeply unpopular, I think that affected Pakistani sentiment in terms of how it looked at the U.S.
Abraham says conspiracy theories about the U.S. are rife.
The U.S. has legitimate concerns regarding, let's say, the safety of Pakistan's nuclear program. Now that gets mutated into a conspiracy theory where the U.S. wants to denuke, roll back Pakistan's nuclear program.
Pakistani governments use these theories to stoke fear and unify the people, says Aisha Siddiqa at Johns Hopkins University.
By creating monsters, by creating imaginary Frankensteins, by creating images which then connect people. And unfortunately, in this state, which is not a nation, security is the only product which the state, the functionaries of the state, sell outside and sell inside.
She says Pakistan needs an alternate narrative,
which talks about democracy, which talks about rights of the people, which talks about emancipation at various levels is highly important.
Another issue, experts say, American aid is not reaching the people it's meant for. Ambassador Chamberlain says U.S. aid should go directly to Pakistani communities, not through the government.
It will build trust because we're saying, we don't know the answers, you know the answers.
Experts say Pakistan's expanding electronic media is having an impact on people's views. The same media that in 2005 showed U.S. helicopters distributing aid to earthquake victims in remote areas of Pakistan are now showing drone attacks on Al-Qaeda and Taliban militants every day alongside civilian casualties. Ravi Khanna, VOA News, Washington.